We had Lady Decade on our show today, and Lady Decade has been doing some really good work, just totally on accident, finding a lot of the root cause for a lot of this insanity. A lot of people point at Sweet Baby Inc. No. You should be looking at Gina Davis. Remember her? Gina Davis from A League of Her Own. Remember that? Yeah. Gina Davis from Hollywood. Well, she started this thing called the Gina Davis Institute several years ago. And Lady Decade put together a really fun video about this, which is, it's a great 47-minute clip. I want to show it to you really quick. Not the whole thing, or really any of it. I encourage you to go watch the whole thing. It's called I Wish I Didn't Learn the Truth. But we had Lady Decade on our show today to talk about this. But I wanted to kind of give you some clip notes on this, but encourage you to go watch the entire show today. I'll put a link to that down in the description. With that said, Gina Davis, of all people, is where this whole thing started. Now, you can see right here, she says, for 20 years, the Gina Davis Institute has been at the forefront of championing equitable representation in media. Now, this whole thing apparently started in like 2004 when Gina Davis said, hey, there aren't enough women in my kids' TV shows. So she started the Gina Davis Institute, and now this has slowly crept into all forms of media, including video games. As a matter of fact, they have an entire toolkit about representation in gaming right here. And look at the immense amount of representation, female, that are all in video games. Okay, fine. That's great. You want to have your representation? That's awesome. Now, I went in and during our stream, they actually talked pretty extensively. We talked extensively about kind of the tentacles that have kind of climbed into so much of the industry. Warner Brothers is a part of this. Lego is a part of it. All these major brands inside the gaming space, they're all linked to this Gina Davis Institute here. Gina Davis, I just can't wrap my head around all this. It's just silly. But I got to thinking about this, and we kind of briefly touched on this during the stream today. I wanted to know more about the Gina Davis Institute. So I pulled up this website that kind of gives you a rundown of all the things that you need to know about it. So in 2023, you say they had $3.4 million in revenue. They got almost $2 million in assets. You can see the expenses here. It is meant to be a nonprofit after all, a 501c3 here. This kind of gives you a brief overview of it. They get most of their money through contributions, 81%. They have some program services, whatever the hell that means. And they made $41 off of investment income here. But what's interesting about this is the executive compensation here. They have multiple executives, and you can see them down here. Actually, every single person that is listed as a director for the company. But I thought it was I wanted to really pay attention to the people who are paid to work at this company, specifically these 4 people right here. And I wanted to pull up, just for fun, who these women are. Because if you notice, they are all women. Now, you tell me, gentle viewer, if you notice a common theme behind these people. Madeline Danino, the president and CEO. There's Madeline right there. Elizabeth Kilpatrick. Here we are. Meredith Conroy. Okay. Vice President of Research and Insights. And finally, Michelle Meyer, the last one listed on this right here, the Senior Director of Research and I'm guessing Development, paid $113,000 for her compensation. I actually couldn't find a link to her on the website. Maybe she's gone, but at the time she was there, but doesn't really matter. What do you notice between these 4 women on this platform that is all about diversity, equity, and inclusion? Oh, that's right. All white women. Not really that diverse, if I could just call a spade in a situation like this. Now, I thought to myself, surely this can't be the whole situation when it comes to the team members at the Gina Davis Institute. So I went to the Gina Davis Institute and looked at the team members. And here is the list of team members. And I'm just going to scroll for a little bit. And once again, tell me if there's something that you notice here as we're scrolling. A lot of women here. Once again, all about diversity. Now, we did find Romeo here, who is he, they, or L and Aya as pronouns right here. A lot of she, hers going on as we scroll. And if you notice, I'm just going to keep on scrolling here. I've done the math on this. I literally wrote down every single person. And I want to point out that for a place that's all about just total diversity, there's sure not a whole lot of diversity of thought, as I'm just going to continue to scroll. Now, there are 86 people listed as team members for the Gina Davis Institute. And I have broken it down. There are 10 males in this entire team member website. There are 2 they, thems, and there are 74 women listed here. To break that down, 86% of this team is made up of women. Just 11% are men, which tells you everything you need to know about the Gina Davis Institute. And once again, this is an institute that has its tendrils in all of gaming, all over the place. This is the breeding ground for something like Sweet Baby Inc., for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And as a matter of fact, we went through several of their playbooks, their PDFs that they put together, their toolkits, if you will. And in those toolkits, they literally say, do not hire based off of equity, or I'm sorry, do not hire based off of talent. They want you hiring for diversity and equity. It was just amazing to see. And I encourage you guys, once again, to go watch the entire conversation and also go watch the entire video that Lady Decade put together. But I wanted to point out one other thing. They have a website called the GDIplaybook.org. And I pulled this up, and I pointed this out on the show as well today. But this is representation to them. Look at the different people that are represented here, and tell me what's missing here, right? Obviously, some chromosomes going on right there. We have, as we scroll down here, craft your approach here. We got nice looking black dad and son, maybe a grandpa. We got a woman with her child, maybe with some chromosome issues here. We have a couple of young men who apparently are very fond of each other. We have this young black man here, and we have another black man and a man who is missing an arm here. Yeah. So just the standard able-bodied white guy is missing. If I can connect the puzzle pieces for you right here. This is what they're going for. And the irony is that, like, you and me, we're not included in this thought process here because we are deemed as problematic, which is amazing to see that this whole thing started with the idea of Gina Davis was like, well, I don't see women in my kids' shows, which if you go back to 2004, there are plenty of women in women's shows, but not enough. So once again, go watch the entire thing. It was a really interesting conversation we had with Lady Decade. I also encourage you to go watch the I Wish I Didn't Learn the Truth 47-minute expose on it from Lady Decade. I'll link both of those down below. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. We are covering this nonsense all the time, and I invite you to join us for our live streams Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 here on YouTube, with that extra hour over on Rumble as well.